RJ Kielty, plumbing, heating, cooling, celebrating 15 years of bringing comfort to you. Healing Realty, call RJ Kielty, they'll get your system working to cool you down. And if fixing a leak is what you seek, RJ Kielty service is the best around. RJ Kielty, plumbing, heating, cooling, over 50 years of bringing comfort to you.
We rolling? We are rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kielty Korner podcast. Tanner Kielty is here. I'm Reagan Weiss, and today I am the host instead of Tanner because Tanner is our special guest. We made some quick moment arrangements here, arrangements, if you will. Little switch up, if you will. But lo and behold, we have Tanner Kielty, the man, the myth, the legend of RJ Kielty. So Tanner, we're going to go right into it, brother.
Yeah.
You're a man of impact. You're a man of purpose. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and we're just going to hit people with knowledge. Okay.
Yeah.
So the purpose and passion question, Tanner, what does your business truly mean to you beyond the service you provide?
I think how I would address that, or what I like to say, it's all really about people.
Mm-hmm.
It's about people to me. Services, and whether it's our people here in the office, whether it's people out in the community, to me, that's really all that matters. Because I know if we can impact people, we can make their lives better. We can fix their plumbing problem. We can make them cool.
Yeah.
We could help them with their electric issue, put a generator in if they got a storm. If I impact people, that's what matters.
I think that's a great answer. And I think it's a genuine answer from you. At the end of the day, I know you for quite a long time. A lot of you that do not know our relationship, I mean, I remember, Tanner, I'm going to go back in time. So there was a development that they used to live in, and as folks actually still do.
Yep.
And, they're avid pilots. And in this development, they had a wonderful neighbor called the Malicoses.
Yep.
And the Malicoses own
Love
the
those
Inn on the
guys.
Golf restaurant in Hudson. And they are phenomenal people. We've been lifelong friends, if you will. Now, Tanner's 10 years to my youth. Now, when you're, that age, when you're in high school, that is a very large difference. And I literally remember Tanner Kielty across the street playing with, in my mind, Tanner, it was like a yellow Tonka truck out front, playing around. And I'm like, look at these kids are so cute. Now you're in high school. We're not that big of a difference. Now, we've become good friends over the years. But like, I've known him for a very, very long time. And to see his growth through high school, through college, coming to work for dad, starting off doing the crap work. Tanner, I remember back in the day, brother, when I used to work at D.R. Horton, you were answering the phones, and I would call for like warranty and maintenance, and it would be Tanner Kielty answering the phone. So you've always been that way. You've worked your way up, and you've always actually been about the people. So I do know that's a genuine answer. And there are so many individuals that Tanner helps that you guys don't know about. I'm allowed to say it just because I think that's what we should be doing. We should be talking about the greater things and the greater good of things that people do. Because if he's broadcasting it, it becomes tacky, it becomes gaudy. He's not that guy. No one knows about it, but I know about it, and a lot of people do. So Tanner, you are that person, man. So I really do appreciate that answer because I know that's who you are. All right. We're going to follow up with the consistency question.
Okay.
You've built a reputation for reliability. How important do you think it is to follow up with consistency? And are you building trust within your customers?
Yeah. So consistency, this is crazy, but consistency is one of my impact words.
Okay.
It's in our actual mission statement. We talk about consistency, and I talk about it in almost every single meeting with our guys. So being consistent is important to everything you do. Whether a guy goes out there and that you have a different guy, if those guys are consistent, you're not getting that same consistent customer service.
Right.
The person may not use you again. Standard operating procedures, everything's about consistency. So everything we do, every principle I have really pushes towards consistency and doing consistent customer service and consistent processes every single time.
So do you think your guys are like, they know what's coming in their day? Obviously the mission changes because there's different jobs, but they know the process and protocol of every single day.
Yeah. So I basically give them the guardrails, right? Everybody's different. Everybody approaches the job a different way, right? But I give them those guardrails, and as long as they stay within those guardrails, I'm happy.
Yeah.
And they get to, be themselves too.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? But what I really, really love is, doing it again, consistent.
Yeah.
We can create that customer experience every single time.
You're saying they could be who they are, people by people.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, like you said, you're setting the guidelines. So as long as you operate with who you are within
Yeah.
this guideline, everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, like our guys, they have to park in a specific place in front of their house. They have to, wear booties. You know what I mean? Their uniforms need to look a specific way. The way they talk to the customer, that kind of stuff matters to us. So we want that consistency, but we don't want them to lose their personality because that's what makes them unique.
I agree. All right. Number 4, the growth and lesson question. So
Mhm.
everyone, well, I don't think everyone knows, but you're on a mission. Like, we all know you're a big time $50+ million year company, right? But your goal is to double that.
Yep.
And, with growth comes lessons, etc. So every entrepreneur hits a roadblock. What is the one lesson or setback that actually helped you grow this business to become stronger, even stronger than what your dad created?
Yeah. So I'm actually reading a book now, and we talks a lot about goals, and basically you have to set a goal, but then you have to reverse engineer that goal, right? So what are the steps I need to put in? What are the people I need to put in place? What are the standard operating procedures I need to put in place to reach that goals? What are the sales I need to have to reach that goal? So, it's easy to have goals. The hard part is to really look forward. And that's where people really get their biggest roadblock. You could
Yeah.
be at 1 million, be 2 million. It could be hiring that second guy. You're doing everything yourself, right? Hiring on that second guy and being able to train them. Maybe you're really good at what you do, but you're not good at training them, having procedures for them, because you're going to be upset and frustrated if they're not doing it the way that you want to do it. But usually that's your fault, not their fault.
No, 100%. It's poop rolls downhill, if you
Yeah.
will, and garbage in, garbage out. Rich Allen used to say that to me all the
Yeah.
time. Rich Allen partners with Steve
Yeah.
Farrell. And I never caught it. Even when I was older, I never got it because I was always immature. But I figured it out finally. Like, he's like, right, garbage in, garbage out. And you're right. It's whatever is coming in, the estimates going out properly, following the SOPs like you're talking about. So that is very important.
Follow-up
Yep.
sales. I mean,
Yep.
everything down the line. You have to do everything. What my dad always says, there's, 50 spokes
Mhm.
on a wheel, right?
Yep.
And those 50 things have to be running perfectly right, doing the right things for you to even think about, a profit, and then it's the small things after that that you can gain a higher percent of a profit or whatever. But you have to do those 50 things right to be a viable business.
So let's elaborate a little bit more. So
Mhm.
obviously this company is growing at leaps and bounds, and you have a lot of goals that you want to attain over the next
Yep.
decade, right? Because you're still a young man. Um, what piece of advice would you give to the $1 to $2 million year companies right now in regards to starting on their path? Like, what would be one piece of advice or the main piece of advice that you'd want to give them if they want to grow their business?
Yeah, and I'm a I'm an analytical guy, so I'll kind of go back to standard operating procedures. But
Yeah.
that's to me what matters most.
Okay.
Is you got to know what roles that you need to create, and then you need to create policies and procedures for that. Because I've done this in my life where I'm like, okay, I know I need, we'll just call it a marketing person.
Right.
Well, I just have them get in there, and then we'll just kind of figure out what we need to do when they get there. That is the absolute wrong way to do it. You're setting the wrong expectations with that person. You're setting the wrong guidelines, and then you're trying to then go back and you're frustrated because stuff's not happening. Well, it's my fault.
Right.
I didn't create the right policy procedures in place to make that person successful.
I think that's learning too. Like, that's a learning curve,
Yeah.
even at a $50 million+ company. Like, you're still learning because you're forever growing. So,
Yeah.
and then just to talk at a marketing perspective, because it's
Yeah. Well, I was
low-hanging
going to say
fruit.
too,
Yeah.
sales
Yeah.
matters. You
There
know
you
what I'm
go.
saying?
There you go.
And if you don't have the sales, you're never going to get there. You're
Yeah.
never going to push yourself. So,
Yeah.
how my dad has grown, and my dad's my mentor.
Yep.
He's been absolutely amazing to me. Without him, I wouldn't be here. I think everybody should have a mentor.
Yeah.
I'm just lucky enough that it's my dad.
Yep.
But he was just never afraid. So, Builder called him up and said, "Hey, I have this opportunity in Orlando. I can give you 25 starts a week." My dad goes, "Okay." He had no infrastructure over there. He didn't
Right.
even really know anything was it.
Figured it out though, didn't he?
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
from North Dakota, and he moved down here, and after high school, and he goes, "I'll figure it out." So, being able to get the sales, but then put in the work after it to be able to figure it out. But if you don't have the sales, you don't have the marketing, you don't have your sales process correct. Yeah,
Yep.
same thing. You're just spinning wheel, and you'll never get to where you need to be.
Okay. Good one. All right. Let's go. We're talking about culture.
Yeah.
That's important. We talk about this a lot. What kind of culture do you try to create within your company, and how do you keep your team motivated to deliver the same level that you've known to come and care for others?
Yeah. So to me, culture is immensely important to everything that we do. I don't want to create a workplace. There's a lot of places and maybe they're successful, but a workplace where people are yelling and screaming to get stuff done, putting people down to
Mm,
get something done or to make themselves look better. Culture to me is everything. So I like to do little things to the guys. I like to actually know them,
mhm,
on a personal level. And I know a lot of people say, "Hey, don't bring family into business," but to me, everybody here really is family. We're away from our actual family a lot more than we
yeah, we
are
are.
actually working here. So to me, culture means absolutely everything. We do little things like I'm an avid hunter, so sometimes we'll have say elk here, or I cook moose for the guys, or we just had Eric with Eric's Eatery come in, food
Oh, yeah.
truck. You know what I mean? Because it is so easy to forget, and I tell my managers this a lot, because a lot of them have maybe been out of the field for over 10 years now or longer. It's so easy to forget how hard it was,
Mm,
doing the work that we do. Whether on the new construction side, I mean, I've done it, and like you talked about that, you knew me, and I answer the phones. I have answered the phones. I've done the on call stuff. I've come on Saturdays. My dad said that two things: either you're going to be working or you're going to be playing sports.
yeah,
So I did play a lot of sports, but
yeah.
let me tell you what, in the summer times I worked, and I grew up playing, football, hockey, soccer,
Yeah.
tennis, whatever. And you think that's tough outside? Well, you put a shovel in somebody's
No.
hand and you dig at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're sweating already that early, and you're leaning over, putting in pipe, and it's not just physical, the mental stress, you put on yourself. You have to do a lot of geometry, saying plumbing and in HVAC, and as
Right.
well as electric. So I understand how hard and difficult it is. Trust me, school was easier than what we're doing. I'm being
Yeah.
honest with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, school is easier, so I know that it's my job to create a right culture for these guys so that they can succeed, because I know how hard that they work.
Yeah. Alex Hormozy, Tommy Mello, all those
Yeah.
guys, people that we follow, they talk about how, the plumbing industry, HVAC industry, like those are the next generation of millionaires. And I
Yeah.
truly do believe that.
Yeah.
PE's coming in, trying to buy a lot of people out right now. I know
I love that.
you guys aren't there. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
But talk on that.
no, I
Yeah.
love that. And no disrespect to anybody, that, but um to me that's a great advantage for me, because this happened a lot back in like the early 2000s and
Mhm.
stuff. Service experts came in, they were buying a lot of companies, which was Lennox, all these other P's. They kind of come and they basically don't know how to run a company, because it's tough.
Yeah.
It's not like a business where everybody's contained within a building and you're building a part. You know what I mean? You have people outside. There's
Yep.
there's insurances, there's vehicles driving, there's safety issues, there's marketing is not 100% B2B, although we have B2B. Um, so they usually screw it up. I mean, just to be honest,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're numbers people, so they
Right.
they lose that personal touch. I think they lose direction as far as why they're there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll either close up or they will sell it back maybe to the people, which I think that's the best thing to do, and
Yeah.
good for them. They kind of get it on both
Yeah.
sides.
Double dip there.
Um, and there's people that do it right. But typically what I've seen in our area is they haven't done it right, 100%. I know some kind of
The
have,
only
but
ones that
most
work
of the
is
part.
if they stay on as managing partners.
Yes.
Other than that,
So,
and
and I
it's
think that's a lesson for private equity
right.
firms. The people that I have seen that stayed on and they care about their business, and they care about their name, they've been successful.
Yeah.
The people that have, once they've sold out and they have left right away,
Yeah.
there's a huge vacuum there. And I don't know one that has been successful.
Mm.
So it's still the people, you know what I mean? Private equity, they may be good at numbers, and they basically take a bunch of companies, they group them together, they get higher multiples, and then they
Yeah.
try to resell it to another
Dude, it's frowned upon. Like
private
it
equity.
is frowned upon. As you know, I've been blessed to travel the country as of late. And I'm going to different companies, HVAC companies, plumbing companies. And when I talk to them and their companies just like yours, they don't want PE. Like community members don't want PE in their neighborhood because it dilutes, if you will, that brand that was there forever, that brought in the community camaraderie and so forth. And it's like they don't even want to hire those companies. Once they come in and buy them out, they recognize it because there's some kind of shift. Something changes, whether it's the marketing aspect or they know that person or the owners aren't involved so much anymore. And then they start working up with the companies that do want to be involved with.
They bring people in, maybe, and there's nothing wrong with this, but they bring in their policy procedures, and maybe it's totally different from the way the other people were running their business. And like I said, it's like a vacuum. People just leave in drones.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they make money. Some of these people,
I
like
think,
you said, I think the key is to keep the key principles
Yeah.
intact, keep management intact. Maybe give them part ownership or something. I don't know if you're a PE firm, maybe you're listening to this, but I'm sure they know this stuff.
I've heard that too, though, where companies will come in and they'll open up like a holdings company for their employees. Have you heard of that? So they'll bring in and say, like, whatever, we'll call Joe Blow air conditioning, whatever. And then they'll create a whole, if they do want to sell down the road to PE, they'll create a holdings company for the employees where they'll take 2% of the value and then put that in a holdings company. So the employees can become owners eventually. But let's say it caps out only at 2 million if you sell it for whatever, 10% or 2% of that. And then so the $2 million gets spread out between those owners that choose to buy into the holdings company.
No, I love that idea. And not even just to try to sell it, but actually, we're big on like profit sharing and stuff like that. So and we tie that into our 401k that we also match. So, in the trades, there's a big void of people that don't really worry about retirement until it's too late.
Yeah, true. It's not taught.
It's not taught.
No.
You know what I mean? So I try to do different ways. If I wasn't plumbing, I would be in some sort of financial services. I love that aspect of it. I do it myself a lot. My dad does. He kind of passed that down to me.
That's awesome.
So we actually have Matt Mall, who's an amazing person, a friend of mine, True Advisors. He actually, part of our plan, he runs our 401k. He helps with our profit sharing. But we actually pay him on retainer. So if somebody has any financial questions or whatever,
I didn't know
you
that.
can
That's
ask
amazing.
him that. Yeah. And to me, that's really, really important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Say,
because
okay,
for your employees to pay that out of
house.
pocket would be big
a lot of money.
Right.
And Matt is somebody that does this at a very, very high level that has a lot of high net worth people. So, before buying a house, I go, hey, talk to Matt. Just, you know what I mean? Make sure you're doing all the right things. You could, if you need life insurance or something like that, he doesn't sell, but just he'll ask you all the questions, and drive you towards the answer that is correct for them.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a huge deal because as you take that financial stress off somebody, they're going to be not only work better, they're just going to be a better person overall.
If you think about it, Tanner, that's the majority of it. It's that stress for those people.
A lot of people have a lot of stress, and our guys make good money. Don't get me wrong, but still, you don't have that financial structure. If you don't save, you don't have that little nest egg.
Today's market's different, man.
It's correct. Everything's so expensive. You know what I mean? That's just extra stress that they have on their shoulders, and you can't concentrate under that stress. And that's not why we're in this world, to have constant stress. So if we could help in any way with that, to me, that's what matters.
That's a big deal, because at the end of the day, if you're always in a state of flight or fight, that it's impossible to work to maintain that. And then now you gotta worry about, we as men, I know you have women working here as well, but as men, like, that's our number one worry, right? Like, it's the weight of the world's on your shoulders. You got to take care of your wife. You got to take care of your kids. You got to take care of your family. And then as you get older, you got to take care of mom and dad, because now mom and dad need help again. And like, the last thing you want to worry about is the dollars and cents of, what's coming in. So for that, that's a huge, huge advantage. I did not know you offered that. So
and a lot of people take advantage of it,
Good.
And we actually have a meeting once a year, and it's a long meeting with Matt and everybody, and they can ask those kind of questions. They can ask about the 401k. They can ask about profit sharing, how they should say, what they should do. It's kind of like an open forum. Okay. So it's really, really cool. And I think we just passed 3 or 4 million in our 401k. And we just started that like 4 years ago or so. So it's like,
that's awesome.
Everything's compounding. And what I try to tell the people, it's all, again, I'm a finance guy, but compounding interest, you could see that number being, $20-30 million pretty quick. And them personally seeing their money go up really, really, really quick, because the more you're in it, the higher percent that you're going to see, you know, so.
Yep. I love it. All right, let's keep going. We have, well, you've heard this, but we're going to talk about it again. The community and legacy question. So you're not just running a business, you're a part of this community. What kind of impact do you hope to leave here throughout your work?
That's a tough one. Well, it's kind of a 2-answer deal for me, but
go.
as far as like community goes, to me, somebody to go to say I go to the movie theater, right? And I want to be that person where somebody goes up and maybe they see me and go, Tanner, your guy did a awesome job. You know what I mean? That's really all that matters to me.
Yeah.
Is to know that we are doing a right job for our community. And then we're there for them, right? So we've been in business 52 years, right? The community, when you really think about it, and people, you know, don't think about this stuff and don't care as much, but to me, it matters a lot, is the community has support us for 52 years. So it is not even an option for me to not support them.
Right.
It's not an option. It's like they've supported us. Why would we not be there for them?
Yeah.
You know, so doing these community events, doing our breast cancer event we have, doing Halloween, doing our autism event with Kitty Up, back to school stuff. That's a requirement to me and our people to be able to show up for our community, because they show up for us, you know, each and every day. You know, whether they're, you know, referring us to somebody, or just supporting us online or whatever, like they support us. I want to support them as much as
I will tell you, out of all the events that you've done, and to me, this even supersedes Halloween, which is something, you know, that I have helped create. I love the work you do with Kitty Up Ranch. I think they're phenomenal people.
Tammy and Doug, let me just say, and they're kind of going through a hard time now because of some funding insurance stuff. So if you have any extra money, please help them.
Let's definitely talk about that.
They are just down to earth, amazing people. I would go to war for them. Because they do all this stuff not for anything other than just to help people. You know, it's such autism veterans.
It's such great therapy too.
It is
for veterans or individuals with autism. Being around those horses, it's very impactful. And the work they do is impactful. And going there, you just feel like you're in a different world when you get there. It's really awesome.
And she and maybe you know, even at first with me, I'm like, therapy with horses, how does that work?
Right.
Well, it is. And there's all these studies, and she sees the impact, you know, from it. You know, they have basically obstacle courses and stuff like that, you know, and she's really seeing all the good that it's doing, the changes it's making for these people that really, you know, a lot of them are kids, but even older, they really didn't have a chance or an opportunity, and she's kind of giving them that.
Hopefully if Jesse's here, the Wizard of Pods, hopefully he could put some of their stuff, Jesse, in the comments. That'd be great to help them out. Oh, perfect. The link is scrolling across right now. Kitty Up Ranch, if you could help on them any which way. I mean, even $1 helps. Think about it, guys. There's 60,000 people in the hub. There's 13,000 people on your Facebook page. Like $1. Like, could you imagine if one? Like, it sounds nuts. I know it sounds like, they're gonna be in corny again. But if you did $1 and all those people did it, that'd be a nice influx of money for them to help out, you know, with the ranch and get that going again.
They have just such big hearts, and they're doing it for all the right reasons. You could, like I said, you talk to them for 2 minutes and you understand, like, they are good people doing it for the right reasons. So.
All right. So I nailed you with those 5 questions. So I'm not going to keep you. I'm not going to put you on the hot seat too much right now, but I do want to talk to you about. I want to first and foremost say thank you for Halloween once again being a sponsor. We were in year 6, Halloween 6, and dude, it came out really great, Tanner. Like, it was a really good event.
I was actually at a wedding, you know, in North Carolina. Shout out to the Crumbleys. Leah just got married.
Congratulations.
But let me tell you what, I mean, I was watching the videos. It was like around the DJ and stuff. It looked like one of those EDM concerts. Like, there was just a lot of people out there.
We had glow sticks too, so it was perfect. This is the first.
But it was kids. That's what I love about it.
So many kids, dude.
They were just like, it reminds me of like my kids at like a wedding where they're like finally like, here's music and watch other people are dancing. I mean, the kids were just jumping up and down, dancing, having a good time. We talk about core memories. They're never going to forget about that moment in their life. Ever. You know,
there's a picture of me, with Mr. Time, my helmet on, and Adam Kriego. And I'm sitting down on a bale of hay, and this adorable angelic child in a Spider-Man outfit.
I'm about to say the Spider-Man
Yeah,
kid, 'cause I love
comes
it.
over, but mind you, I have the mask on, so they
Yeah.
can't see my eyes, but I could see the intent in his eyes, and just the stare of wonder, like,
Mhm.
and it's not like I'm in a Mickey Mouse costume, for goodness sakes. I'm in
Mhm.
a mask, a skeleton mask, but of wonder. But then behind that mask, I just come out with a soft voice. I'm like, hey, how are you? You look really good. And like, so they're like,
Mhm.
what nice person, the skeleton mask. But it's to see that impact, and then they smile and they're like, thank you. And they turn around, you take the pictures. Like, it is literally those moments. I'm glad that woman captured that for us. That was fantastic. That was actually the mother that captured that photo, and she sent it to me, which was awesome. But dude, that was throughout the night. Like, that's why I told people, Tanner, like, if they're there, go there in a character, because that's what resonates with the kids. So I'm so glad that moment organically happened, where someone took a picture, because I was like, that's what I'm talking about. We've talked about that so much, how to
Yeah.
just have an impact with the kids.
Yeah, to me, that's honestly all that matters. That's what really fills my cup, is to see other people.
Yep.
And I'm in a book club here, and I've talked about the office here, and we're talking about our personal mission statements. But mine is like to help other people and to help other people succeed.
Yeah.
And mine's just basically people, pretty much. And to see somebody like enjoying life like that, and being able to impact them,
Yeah.
that's everything. To me personally, that's everything.
If you were to go to my house, my office is my childhood.
Yeah.
Josh Weaver knows this. He actually was at
Oh,
my house
I
when I
seen
went.
the old
Yeah.
Oakley glasses.
Yeah, like,
And
it's but
Star Wars.
it's nostalgia. I got my Superman, I got my Star Wars
Yeah.
stuff in there. It's literally my childhood. And I
Mhm.
don't know what it is for me, but I hold on to that. And I think that's why people say to me all the time, Reagan, you have this childlike charisma to you, because I stay in that realm, because it was just like a happy time.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's
It's
a
a
happy
happy time,
place.
right? So, like, if we
Dude.
could do that for kids, they'll always resonate with a Kilty brand or your personal
Yeah.
brand. And that's why people don't understand. They think it's like it's self-involved, or, oh, you're just doing to get your name out there. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not even the case. For goodness sakes, Tanner, the truth is, yes, it's RJ Halloween presented by RJ Kilty. But at the end of the day, I know you don't even care if it's on there. You just know that you're helping the cause come to life,
Yeah.
because you're giving those memories.
And I think if you do that organically, people could kind of see when they're kind of forcing that kind of stuff. And if you do that really organically and you really want to help people, I think people will see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they want to work with businesses like that. And to me, that really honestly doesn't matter too much. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
have other avenues that I know we can gain, customers and stuff like that. But me knowing that if I help my community, it honestly helps me more than my community, because I feel so good about it. And I know that I've made an impact in somebody's life.
People think, and that's the truth, I'll just
Mhm.
call it as it is. People think it's like a lead gen for you.
Mhm.
It's not.
It really isn't. No,
It's really
honestly, if you
not.
put all the money that,
It's not. People are like,
yeah,
oh, you do that for leads. I'm like, no, it is community effort. And like you said, you do it organically, you do it authentically. It pays you back in the long run tenfold. And it's even more than dollars and cents, or more than monetary
yeah.
gain.
Well, you want to talk about kind of a legacy a little bit too, and to
Mm.
me, that's a lot about what it's out, for me as well. Just to pay tribute to, my parents,
Yeah.
and to be able to get out in the community and for them to know, like, hey, RJ Kilty is going to do the right thing, not even for business, but you know
Yeah.
what I mean? To solidify the legacy for my parents because of all the stuff that they've done for
Yeah.
me and for the community and stuff like that. To
Yeah.
me, that's why I do this.
100%.
So,
It's very important. I mean, our father's crazy. Both
yeah.
pilots,
Yep.
right? Both
Yep.
pilots. Your dad, business owner. My dad was a business owner. And your dad had much more of an impact here. Obviously, my dad was more from up north.
No, but I real
right.
quick, I hear
Yeah.
how your dad speaks. I've heard your dad kind of talk
Yeah.
on, you know what I mean?
Yep.
On
It's
some of your voicemails and stuff like that. They're a lot of the same people. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're trying to create, they may not say it, but they're trying to create that next
Of course.
generation of leaders.
Of course. So speaking of that,
Yeah.
Obviously your boys and then your beautiful
Yeah.
daughter. Is that a goal for you? Like, do you want to see them
Yeah.
here?
I would love to, but
Yeah.
it's kind of up to them.
Yeah, of course.
If they want to do something like this, they have a great opportunity, It's just gonna have to be me teaching them, hard work, integrity, ethics, and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
mostly hard work, because it's it may look easy on the outside and very polished, but this business is very, very hard work. There's always problems. People, air goes out, you know what I mean? They have a leak, the electric side, they got no power at their house. I mean, it's always fires that you have to do. There's always problems. You're dealing with a lot of
Yeah, from
people.
your staff
Yeah.
to your
Yeah.
clients to
Yeah.
potential clients.
Yeah.
It's hard being in the people
Yeah.
business.
So they have to have the love for it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I love plumbing, HVAC, and electric, but to me, I just love business and I love people and I love making impacts on their lives, like I talked about. So to me, they would have to have that same love for it. And if they don't have the same love for it, whatever they want to do, it's what they want to do, but I'm instilling into them um that hard work
Yeah.
and that ethics and to do the right thing. Um, like I'm a coach of my 4-year-old's football team. I kind of got thrown into it a little bit, kind of helping out. You know what I mean? And talking to kids that maybe don't have in their life somebody that has like leadership ability and stuff like that, and changing the way they think um to the right attitudes to be able to perform like they need to perform. And it's crazy saying that with 4-year-olds. I have a 6-year-old too. We have a lot of talks in that. He's super, super competitive guy like myself.
That's awesome.
But being able to do that and change their lives, I think for the better, is what it's really what it's about.
So, you 10 years to my younger, you're probably the last generation to where it really wasn't pushed. Like you didn't talk about business because we didn't have this.
Yeah.
You knew it because of your dad. I knew
Yeah.
it because of my dad. But like
Yeah.
you said, not all of us have that great mentor story.
Yeah.
But now it's being pushed and thrown down their throats about business and life and
Mhm.
entrepreneurship and so forth. When do you think you're going to start? I mean, you might be now, I don't know, but when do you think you're going to start hitting them with like, this is what's important? Because right now, like your wife is posting the really cute videos of the kids
Mhm.
running around. You got your in your boxer shorts in the morning.
Yeah.
It's the fun stuff right now. But like, when do you think that age is when like, all right, guys, this is what life's about, business is about, and you start steering them down that path?
And maybe this is the wrong decision. I struggle with this a lot, but I talk about it now and all the time.
Okay.
I talk about hard work. I talk about, hey, if you need to be a leader, don't be a follower, and you need to do the
Nice.
right thing to help lead people to do the right thing, whether it's in school, whether it's in sports, whether it's in just making decisions. Especially my 6-year-old, because he's like an old soul, so he's like a teenager mentality.
Right.
But I talk to him about it a lot. I try not to put too much pressure on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, my dad, the reason why I am how I am is because my dad always put a lot of pressure on me. And you have to be able to sustain that pressure, I think, to create success.
Yeah.
And same thing with your like attitude and stuff like that. You can't be up and down. You're going to get a lot of pressure, but be able to sustain and be even keeled during it.
Yeah.
But I already talked to him a lot about that, because I think he's young and impressionable, and long term, that's going to be the best thing for him.
For sure.
But I talk a lot about leadership, about doing the right things, about business. You know what I mean? It's about money.
That's awesome.
About how important it is. To save money, to all those things.
That's good.
And my 4-year-old, no, my 20-month-year-old, obviously not, because my 4-year-old's a little bit different too. He just cares about having fun. Where my oldest, you know what I mean? He has a little different mentality, but I don't know if it's the right decision or not. Like I said, it does put a little pressure on like a 6-year-old. I could see his wheels spinning a lot. But
that's good though. I
Yeah,
think that's
to
healthy.
me, I think it's gonna drive him to success, or all of them to success later on in life.
I believe it. I believe it. And like learn from my mistakes, right? Learn from people that are older. I'm a different parent to she's 21 now.
Yeah.
I was a different parent to her than I am Taylor,
Mhm.
my youngest at 14. And as of but your fans don't know, I would, even when you and I weren't working together,
Yeah.
I don't know where I'd be, who knows where I'd be working at the time. I'd be driving down the road and there'd always be a Kielty truck every day on the way to school. Like every single day, there would be a Kielty truck on the way to school. And then my daughter would always do like a RJ Kielty commercial.
I used to love those messages, by the way.
And that's in elementary school.
Yep.
Like I'm talking from kindergarten all the way. She goes, "Look, Daddy, RJ Kielty." Just because she's seen us at events together and stuff like that. It was never that for marketing or anything like that. And then what transpired from that relationship was, or those early morning relationships and early morning conversations, were we started playing the innovation game. So every day when we go to school, we would come up with, even if there was a product, what can we do to make that product better? That was our conversation every day going to school. And I think you answered it perfectly. The answer of the age is immediately, because if you can talk to them at an early age, they're always going to be talking about that. So now Taylor's a freshman. I'll try to get her a speaking commercial out of her.
Let's do it.
At a freshman, that'd be great. But that she remembers those conversations, and she goes, "Dad, I'm always thinking like that. Like, how can I make something better?" So it's like we're indoctrinating them, but with positive things and the right
with
things.
positive things, because some people indoctrinate with with the wrong things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So to me, that's positivity. It's good kind of pressure. It helps exercise their brain. You know what I mean? Really start really thinking about stuff. So I think it's a good thing. I'm going to keep doing. My dad did it with me. My dad used to, like I said, always put pressure on me, whether it be like you said, my dad was a pilot. I'd be 10 years old flying with him. Right. And he'd be like, "All right, here you go. Here's the yoke." I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'm flying. Okay.
Right.
Land this thing."
Wow.
Okay, I'll land it. You know what I mean?
Well, do you remember the first time landing by your solo?
Yeah. Talking to which tougher than landing and flying and everything. Talking to air traffic control.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you can't mess up. But I'd rehearse it in my head.
Right.
You know what I mean? I remember when I was 15, I was working and I was on a roughing crew. The guy that I was with couldn't drive for whatever reason. So my dad's like, "All right, well, you're driving this guy or whatever." And they're all kind of laughing and stuff like that. I'm like, "All right, whatever." I drive and I look, I'm like, "Oh, stick shift." I'm like, "I've never learned stick shift." My dad goes, "Well, you're going to learn today." So in front of, however much people, 60 people or whatever, it's like, "Hey, you're going to learn." And I didn't stall out backing up. I didn't stall out going forward. But when I was turning left from Chicago on the 52, I stalled out. Like, "Oh, shoot." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He always put me in those kind of positions.
Did he break?
Huh?
Did he break when you stalled out? Did he break, or was he composed? Was he like, "What the hell?"
No, he was okay.
He was composed.
I was with, like I said, I was with just a plumber, and he was like, "Oh yeah, here's what you got to do real quick." You know what I mean? And I used to kind of curse my dad. You know what I mean? Like summers, like I said, be working, all my friends having fun. You know what I mean? Going to the beach and stuff like that. I had fun too, but I'd be like, "Dad, why do I got to do this? None of my friends are doing this." And my dad, I knew what he was thinking then. Well, I don't want you to be just an average person.
Right.
I want you to be something.
FYI, this Mr. Kielty thought all of Tanner's friends were average. So, just let you know.
I have a lot of really good friends that aren't average, and they still got to have fun too. So maybe I'm rethinking this. No, but that created and like I said, I would, tell my dad why, you know what I mean? And I would have maybe some animosity toward him, in high school and stuff like that. And then I forget what it was, 10, 15 years ago, came up to my dad, almost crying, like, "Hey, thank you for everything you did."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Because putting me through all that stuff,
of course,
makes you a harder person. That's not gonna, crumble under pressure.
Yeah. So. No, you can see the love there, and it's awesome to see. And then I remember when you had your birthday party for your dad a while ago.
Yeah,
that was awesome to watch that transpire. And everyone come here and support it. That was really awesome.
Man, I'm just so lucky to have just a loving mom who always supported all of us, supported my dad, and then my dad, the person who he is, really one in a million, and just quiet. You know what I mean? But like when he means business and he's direct, people just listen. You know what I mean?
It's a command presence.
It is.
And that's something that you just gain over time.
Yeah.
You gain over time. It must, just to be transparent, it's got to be hard for you too, because it's like the passing of the guard, right? Like the sun comes in and you still got the old guard. It's like, but it's a learning curve. And then eventually you just get that. And eventually you just have that command presence. You're like, this is the way it is. If you don't like it, sorry.
And honestly, my dad set me up for that, because you have to, for me to be able to tell somebody what to do, I feel like I've, this is probably wrong, but this is how I think I at least have been able to do it myself.
Right. I agree.
So me being able to start from the bottom, move up, being able to do 90% of the jobs has really helped me. So real quick story. So when I was finished with Florida State, this was 2009, absolutely the worst time. We were 95% probably new construction plumbing only at that time. Right. And although we picked up a larger market share, I mean, we had areas like our Fort Myers, like we were doing, call it, 20, 30 starts a week or something like that. Went down to a couple starts a week.
Right.
My dad, he was having shingles and stuff like that, because it's easier to let go of somebody that's not doing the right job and kind of has a poor attitude or whatever. But when you get to the guys that you're like, hey, this guy worked for me for 15 years,
Right.
has a family, is a amazing person, having to let that person go because you got no work, that's just almost killed my dad. You know what I'm saying? But for me, it was honestly the absolute best time I could come in, because I was able to then rebrand. I was able to boom, jump right into sales.
Right.
I was able to, really be instrumental in starting our commercial plumbing division, cold calling those people, faxing back in the day. I fax people, call people, Tampa Bay Business Association or Hernando County in Orlando. I was able to then go through almost every function of the business, collect money. I know, like back then, builders were having a hard time paying, so I'd have to go knock on doors and try to collect money. Got to work in billing, got to work in accounting, got to again answer phone calls, institute new technology with software and stuff, because we were using T cards and everything was written out. I was able to, instead of being a small part of the business in one function of the business, work on every single function of the business to help us push through that and to succeed. And it really, really taught me a lot. And it, like I said, that sucked. That was probably the worst time it was the worst time as far as recession and on the new construction side. But then I was able to do that. We were able to, like I said, do commercial. We really spent a lot of time on our service department, where we only had a few people back then. So now we have like 40 or 50 people. And we started air conditioning side, and then pushing that through all of our offices, and then now the electric side. I guess I'm a product of my dad, but I maybe changed too much. But I was lucky. Like I said, I was so lucky that I was able to come in at that time, because otherwise it would have been like, all right, you're just doing this. You know what I mean? You're helping with estimating, you're helping whatever, you know what I mean? And I was able to really touch and put my hand on everything, because
everything happens for a reason. It's perfect timing. So speaking of change, because I know we're going to wrap this up here in a little bit. Rebrand again. I know we talked about it briefly before, but I think it's pretty cool that I remember we were sitting down, we were talking, and you literally drew out the new logo. Like, this is what I was thinking. Talk about that.
Yeah, so I'm one of those weird guys. I have something in my head, and you probably talk to my wife. I will absolutely think about stuff. You can tell when my wheels are turning. I'll be up late at night. And you talk about innovation. I've had numerous nights in college where I didn't sleep at night because I came up with some idea that I was kind of, you know what I mean? So I already kind of envisioned something in my head, how I wanted it. I wanted to pay tribute to, our logo that we have now, but be able to add to it and modernize it. And so, we were sitting there, and I think we had gone through, I don't know how many revisions with the branding company that we were using at the time.
The truth is, though, you created it.
So that I just drew it.
You drew it, like people, and then you're like, all right, guy, make it look like this.
Back and forth. And I'm like, hey, my time's precious. You know what I mean? I could be spending it doing other stuff, helping people or whatever. So finally, I just drew it up.
And you're like, okay, make this prettier.
Make this prettier.
And that's what happened. But you drew it up, and I'll never forget that. And, people will spend 6 figures for the logo, or they'll go to this one or the Kickstarter or that one or that one. You're like, I'm done. This is what I want. Figure it out. And overnight, there it was. It was born. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, because we had tried a bunch of times. Remember, up to it, I'm like, I'm done with this. I know what I want. Let me just draw it up, and you said, make it prettier.
But it does really stand out. In comparison to how I see it. Even I recognized, I looked at the trolley over the weekend. I was like, oh, wow, what a difference in comparison, how it really stands out. And on the truck so far away, definitely recognizable. So
it just pops. So I'm always I love marketing too. That's you know me. Getting out of college and stuff like that. I was able to spend a lot of time in marketing and sales. And then once everything got so crazy, I had to really shift them, because I couldn't market because we couldn't do the work. You know what I mean? I went from marketing to customers to the kind of marketing more for employees and adding to our team. And I missed it. You know what I mean? And when everything kind of slowed down after COVID, not really slowed down, but I'm like, I could finally be able to find enough people to train enough people. And we did a lot of stuff on the back end with apprenticeship programs and stuff like that, so that we could be able to multiply people and get more people. But I love marketing.
Well, marketing and you know,
it's hard. It takes a lot of time.
But it's the hub of everything.
Yeah.
Not to be corny, but it's the hub of everything. And if you don't market your business properly, there is no business. You know, and word of mouth is important too. Very, very important. But you have to brand. You have to get your name out there.
It feeds my creative side.
Yep, which is good.
I mean,
which is good.
I have an analytical side that is very dominant. I also have a creative side. And, you know, even when I was a kid, I used to like draw boats or whatever. I'm like, oh, if I built a boat, this is what it would look like. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of then pushes through to
the cool thing is too, brothers, like, you know, obviously we both have marketing minds. You're willing to try it. And that's what's really cool. Most companies like, I don't know, but when you're a person that's willing to try it and then you see the great results from it, that's pretty awesome to see.
I'm willing to try anything, like I said, and it's as long as I could find metrics behind it.
Right.
You know,
you've really created metrics. Like, think about what we've done here. Like, I've used you as an example on stages now. Because you have like, let's try it and let's see what happens.
I'll put a tracking number on it and I'll see what it drives. You know what I'm saying? And to me, you have to do that because a lot of people spend stupid money on stuff, just throw it at it, and they have no clue if it's working or not.
No idea. They go, what's working? Everything. I'm like, that's really not a good answer.
Or nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know why nothing's working well. If you took your money, this is actually working really well. So if you took your money from this, that's not working at all, and putting into that, you could be a successful.
And a tracking number isn't even expensive anymore.
No, it's not.
And
I have software that creates tracking number, and then it'll actually tell me revenue, and even attributed revenue. If that person, say I marketed to them and they didn't call them like right away, but maybe they called, you know, within a month,
right.
You know, and it just triggered their mind to give us a call for, it could be a tune up, it could be a, you know, a generator sale, it could be anything, you know. So
Jesse, I know we're gonna wrap this up.
We probably got.
I'm about to say we probably have some we gotta have some. Do we have anything, Jesse?
Jesse was going like this.
We got one comment. We got a comment. We got a comment. So let's talk on the comment. What did it say?
Oh, Sean.
Just tell us what it said, Jesse.
What's up, Tanner?
Okay, well, there you go.
All right.
So who's this cat?
A little story. If Sean, you're watching this. So we just had a actual celebration of life here. John Herbert, her father, had worked actually good friend with my dad, even prior to him starting, you know, plumbing. But he had worked for us for probably like 45 years in total. Worked over here. Moved over he actually went up to North Carolina, ran his own business, erecting buildings, stuff like that, came back down, ran and started our Brandon office.
Okay.
And you want to talk about just a absolutely amazing person. Like everybody that worked for him loved him. I used to call him the people's champ. You know what I mean? Because he'd always go too far.
The people's champ.
Everybody loved him. He cared about everybody. He saw the good in everybody, and so many people wanted to work for him. And he has, you know, you talk about like coaching trees, plumbing trees, or whatever you want to call it. But like, there's so much people that he was their mentor that now they're managers, or now they're supervisors, or, you know, star employees. And Sean, if you're still watching this, you know what I mean? And I told you this before, but you know, we love you guys, and we love John, and we will continue his legacy, because if we could clone him, we would.
Awesome. Well, we can't end it better than that. So Wizard of Pods is in here. Josh Weaver's in here. I'm grateful for today. Thank you, sir, for allowing me to host you, the legend, Mr. Tanner Kielty. We got a lot more going on, a lot more coming up, and a lot more guests. And listen, if you are interested in being on Kielty's podcast, on Kielty's Corner, hit us up in Messenger, hit Tanner up in Messenger, and let us know. And Tanner will ask you questions and put you on the hot seat, if you will, regarding your life, your business, your philosophy of life, whatever the case is. But it's all happening here, and it all started at the R.J. Kielty's Corner podcast. Thank you so much. See ya.
See ya.